He said, well, you're giving him a little hard time, right? I said, not that I know of.
What did that mean?
That meant that we were supposed to be doing as well as we were doing.
Wow.
And so then the road manager came later on and told us that we were going home that morning.
You were kidding.
Gladys Knight, the legendary Empress of Soul, dropped a bombshell about Diana Ross, unveiling a side of her that goes beyond the glamorous stage persona. It turns out, Diana wasn't just a demanding star, she was allegedly a very difficult person to work with. Gladys, with her rich experiences and close interactions with Diana, decided it's time to share the untold story.
But you can only tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll tell you just how it happened.
Behind the scenes, there was a dark side to Diana Ross. She wasn't just a perfectionist, she was accused of micromanaging everything and everyone around her, including her own band members. Some claim she forced them into the background because she believed she was superior. And it doesn't stop there. Rumors of not-so-platonic relationships for personal gain have surfaced, tarnishing the image of the star. It's no secret that Gladys Knight has shared stages with Diana, and she believes it's time for the world to know the truth about her. She's not just pulling from her experiences. There are also documented instances pointing to a darker side of Diana Ross. This revelation brings to light a new perspective on the iconic performer, challenging the narrative of her spotless career. It's a story that has been kept in the shadows for too long, and Gladys has decided to bring it into the light, revealing why she harbors strong feelings against Diana Ross. So, what exactly did she say this time? Well, you better grab your seat and popcorn, because what's coming is seriously messed up. As a fan, you might have heard a bit about the story surrounding Diana Ross, but there's a lot more messed up news that never made it to the headlines. Let's break it down for the Gen Z folks who might not be familiar with the magnitude of these names. Gladys Knight and Diana Ross are two big names in the entertainment industry, especially for us millennials. Gladys Knight, with over 4 decades in the music business, is a shining example of artistic excellence. Despite the demanding nature of the industry, she stayed at the top of her game. On the other side, Diana Ross, with a spectacular career, sold over 100 million records, recorded 57 albums, and gathered numerous awards. However, success might have taken a toll on Diana Ross, and it manifested in dark ways. Starting her journey singing in school, Diana rose to fame with the Supremes. Yet, stories surface about how she always tried to set herself apart from the group, even going to the extent of making others change gowns at the last minute. Gladys Knight, a music legend in her own right, shared a shocking story about Diana Ross having her and the Pips booted off a tour. This incident occurred a few years ago when they were touring with other Motown talents. Knight, with her strong vocals, took center stage during their early days on Motown, opening for the Supremes. However, it didn't go smoothly. In 2015, Knight addressed the infamous rumor about Ross kicking them off a tour during an interview. After a hot performance, they were expecting praise from Mr. Gordy, but the news was far from good. Gordy informed them that they were causing trouble for his star act, and he suggested they were coming home.
So Mr. Gordy, he said, but you giving my star act a little bit of trouble. You know, what's up with that? I said, we're just doing our thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. He said, well, I think you guys are coming home.
Wow.
I said, what? He said, I think you guys are coming home. And right before that call came, I saw Miss Ross. There was a theater in the round behind the curtain at the top of the thing where we come down to the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking out at the curtain.
This revelation surprised Knight, especially considering the Supremes' stature as major stars. What added to the shock was Knight spotting Ross peeking out from behind the theater curtain just before the call. This move was out of the ordinary for Ross, and the news left Knight bewildered. The Empress of Soul realized that Ross would do anything to get her way. Little did Gladys Knight know that her fellow group members in the Supremes were already suffering from Ross's actions. Ross, without the protection of the Motown PR machine, had stringent demands on employees, and her perfectionist attitude became gossip fodder. Ross's daughter, Tracy Ellis Ross, even worked as a spy, jotting down mistakes in a notebook. Ross's obsession with perfection didn't just stay backstage, it spilled onto the stage. At Wembley Arena, she stopped a show, screamed at the crew, and kicked a sound monitor off the stage in frustration. This incident highlighted Ross's demand for perfection and her willingness to make a scene to achieve it. Despite the challenges, at the height of the Supremes' fame, Diana Ross had something special. In her memoir, Secrets of a Sparrow, Ross expressed gratitude for their achievements. However, life took a toll on her, leading to an explosive fallout, especially due to her relationship with the group. The fallout within the Supremes happened individually, with each member losing touch with Diana along the way. Starting with Florence Ballard, who represented being pushed aside for Ross, Ballard faced challenges, including excessive drinking and erratic behavior, leading to her being fired and replaced by Cindy Birdsong. Ballard's life took a positive turn when she won an insurance settlement, reconciled with her husband, and resumed performing. However, tragedy struck when she passed away at 32 from a blood clot. The saga continued with Ross's controversial behavior at Ballard's funeral, when she made a grand entrance, nearly fainting and taking Ballard's daughter on her lap for a staged photo. Observers described Ross's actions as a choreographed act of mocking mourning, intending to overshadow Ballard even in death. This incident left an indelible mark on how people perceived Ross, reinforcing the narrative of her self-centered demeanor. Now, it's safe to say that Diana Ross played a role in Florence Ballard's tragic downward spiral, but she wasn't the only one affected by Ross's actions. Mary Wilson, the third member of the Supremes, also experienced the shock of her life from Ross.
She offered you what you thought was a less than acceptable sum.
Yes.
Fair?
Yes. But you know, people are talking about the money, and that really is not it for me, because I make money. I do very well, you know. But the money represented how I would be treated and my status in this situation. All the plans had been made for the tour, and I was the last person that they called.
As the Supremes rose to prominence, Ross allegedly attempted various tactics to distance herself from the group. According to Wilson's 1986 memoir, Ross would change her costumes during TV appearances to set herself apart from Ballard and Wilson. On stage, Ross would allegedly stand far from her group members, positioning herself for solo shots, amplifying her desire to be the center of attention. This relentless quest for the spotlight created tensions within the group. Wilson recounted instances of Ross throwing childish tantrums, only to dismiss them as jokes moments later. Despite Ross's superstar status, she harbored deep insecurities, believing she wasn't as pretty as her fellow group members. This insecurity reportedly drove her to seek more attention from men, with claims that she even tried to seduce Wilson's boyfriend. The turning point came in 1970, when Ross decided to pursue a solo career, leaving behind a resentful group. In a later interview, Ross claimed that Wilson was singing her songs, emphasizing that it was her voice on the tracks. Fans and critics alike found this statement disrespectful, considering the tumultuous history of discord within the group. However, some people argue that Ross might not be entirely at fault. Speculation on the internet suggests that her drama queen persona and preferential treatment from Motown founder Berry Gordy played a significant role in the group's dynamics. Ross acknowledged her insecurities, stating that the protective shell around her made her misunderstood professionally. Despite this, she takes pride in being a grounded and warm parent to her 5 children. The complexity of Ross's relationships within the Supremes and her power dynamics with Gordy adds layers to the narrative. While some attribute her actions to the pitfalls of stardom and insecurities, others question the role of her affair with Gordy in influencing group decisions. The ongoing debate continues, fueled by the intricate dynamics of the Supremes and Ross's enduring legacy. One fan even said Gladys Knight started her singing career at 7 years old by winning the Ted Mack Amateur Hour in the early 50s, and her family started a group in 1952. She has always been more established than Diana Ross. Diana was dating Berry Gordy at the time, who she also has a daughter with, which is why he gave her special treatment. Another fan said, Gladys could sing absolute circles around many singers, including Diana Ross. It doesn't surprise me that insecurities have got the better of Diana more than once with more accomplished singers. In essence, the legacy of the Supremes remains a multifaceted story of talent, friendship, power struggles, and personal insecurities. As we navigate through the intricate web of relationships within the group, we are left to ponder the complex legacy of Diana Ross. Even as the music endures, the shadows of Ross's shortcomings may linger closely behind, contributing to the ever-evolving narrative of one of the most celebrated groups in music history. So what's your take on this situation? Do you believe Diana Ross was unkind? Or do you think there might be another factor at play? Share your thoughts in the comments section. While we eagerly await additional updates, be sure to watch, subscribe, and like this video, along with our other content. And as always, stay tuned for more celebrity drama that you never knew you needed.